Good example and good morning to you all. Today, Group 7 will be presenting on the topic market failure and government intervention. The group members are myself, Yeshey, Thukten Jamyang and Sonam Choki.
Now we'll talk about what market failure is. A market failure refers to an economic situation caused by inefficient distribution of goods and services. In simple words, when their quantity demanded by the consumer is not equal to the quantity of good produced by the firm. In this situation, deadweight loss can also occur and the market will not be in equilibrium. There are types of market failure. Number one, excess supply. Since we all know that demand equals to supply is the equilibrium condition, but in this case, the price is increasing from P1 to P2, and in this situation, the quantity demanded is less than quantity supplied. Therefore, there is excess supply, and when there is excess supply in the market fails. Now, number two of the types of market failure is the excess demand in the market. And excess demand occurs when the price decreases from P1 to P2. And when price decreases from P1 to P2, you all know what happens. The quantity demanded will be greater than the quantity supplied. When this happens, there is excess demand situation, and in excess demand situation, the market fails.
Government intervention. Government intervention is an action carried out by the government to assure a correct functioning of the economy. The government intervention include policies such as setting price floor, setting price ceiling, taxes and subsidies. Setting price floor and setting price ceiling will fall under the manipulating price by the government. The first government intervention policy is price floor. Price floor is a minimum price level, usually above the equilibrium price for particular goods and services implemented by the government. For example, let us assume that the government of the Bhutan has set a price floor for a local rate rice to help local farmer in rural Bhutan. With the price floor, there will be increase in the price of red rice, and the farmer will have an incentive to produce more red rice. Hence, there will be an excess supply situation in the red rice market in Bhutan. PE, this point PE is equilibrium price, and PF is a price floor, in which we can see that the price floor is above equilibrium price, and there will be increase in the price level of the commodity. As Thukten have explained earlier, with increase in the price, the demand for the commodity will be less than the demand supply of the commodity, and the excess supply situation will occur, and the consumer willingness to pay will decrease, and they will opt for the cheaper substitute such as white rice from India. Thus, the demand for red rice will be low compared to the supply of red rice. Therefore, excess supply situation will occur. Such mismatch in supply and demand leads to market failure. The second government intervention policy is price ceiling. Price ceiling is the maximum price level below the equilibrium price for particular goods and services implemented by the government. For example, the government of Bhutan has set a price ceiling for petrol to reduce cost of transportation. With decline in the price, the demand for petrol will increase. Hence, there will be excess demand situation in the oil market in Bhutan. I hope you have understood the concept of price ceiling. Understood or understanding? Now, I will explain price ceiling with the help of diagram. PE is a equilibrium price level for petrol, and PC is a price ceiling for petrol, in which we can see that price ceiling is below equilibrium price PE. With the decline in the price, there will be excess demand situation, in which we can see that demand for petrol is greater than supply of petrol. Such mismatch in supply and demand leads to market failure.
So, as Sonam Choki had already mentioned about the two policies which the government used by manipulating the prices, the third is called subsidies. What is subsidies? Subsidies is basically a government promoted payment given to our firms to offset the cost of production so that they can increase their output while the cost of production is low, thus they can sell at a lower price, thereby more consumers are willing to buy the product at a lower price. So here, as I had mentioned before, with the subsidies, production increase will be shown by the rightward shift of the supply curve, and with the rightward shift of the supply curve, the Q from the equilibrium price quantity will increase to the new QQS, with the increase of supply with subsidies. However, despite the increase in supply with subsidies and the reduction of price, thereby increase in the quantity demanded of the product, there will be deadweight loss, which is given in purple. And deadweight loss, as we know, shows a mark of an inefficient market, thereby can also lead to market failure. Okay, the next policy governments implement is taxes. What taxes? Though taxes are enforced for both consumers and producers, in this case we will focus on government taxes are imposed on producers, which are known as excise tax. So with tax, the producers will be discouraged to produce more because their cost of production has increased, thereby the supply curve will shift leftwards. So with taxes, the supply curve will decrease, so it will shift to left, and with decrease in tax, with the rightward shift, the government will enjoy the part of social welfare in the form of tax revenue, with this being the producer surplus and the above being the consumer surplus. Though unfortunately, all the three actors will suffer a loss of social welfare in form of deadweight loss, which benefits no one, and such inefficiency can lead to market failure. Any question? Please use the Google.